It begins with a single spark, turning a cold camp into a community. At a river bend, our ancestors coaxed fire from dry reeds. They shared stories, marked the stars, and planned for the seasons. This mastery of flame, language, and trust allowed them to settle, to sow, and to store. Agriculture tied humanity to the land. As grains and herds became the measure of time, communities learned to count the rains and reckon their debts. Surplus food built villages, then towns, and finally cities. Here, specialists, rulers, and scribes emerged. Law, writing, and taxation anchored memory beyond a single lifetime, while roads, coinage, and calendars organized the flow of power. From scattered settlements grew the first states, born in fertile river plains and windswept highlands, forged by governance, warfare, and invention. Vast networks soon connected them. Caravans crossed deserts to trade salt, metal, and ideas. Monsoon winds carried sailors between distant ports. Across the Americas and Oceania, great civilizations rose independently, yet echoed each other in purpose. Belief traveled with the merchant and the migrant, growing into Hinduism, Buddhism, and Confucianism, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. By the late 15th century, much of the Eastern Hemisphere was linked by road and sea. The echoes of those first ledgers are in our budgets, our property records, our work weeks. Our maps and markets still follow these ancient patterns. But a new age of sails and gunpowder was about to force a meeting that no one could imagine. Salt spray stitched the continents into one restless heartbeat. The Columbian Exchange didn't just remap ecologies, it rewired the human world. It created the first truly global markets, but also fueled the brutal Atlantic slave trade and the rise of vast new empires. From this collision of worlds, new ideas about reason and rights began to spread, carried in books and whispered in ports, ultimately driving revolutions that would shake the globe. Then the world itself began to tremble, shaken by the power of fossil fuels. The Industrial Revolution packed people into factories and tenements lit by a trembling gaslight. Class politics sharpened as new philosophies, liberalism, nationalism, socialism, moved from pamphlets to parliaments. Nations imagined themselves into being, sometimes with hope, sometimes with iron. The grand ambitions of empire finally collided with the brutal reality of the trench. The 20th century was defined by the ash of total war. In its wake, borders, economies, and cultures were violently redrawn. In response to 2 world wars, genocide, and a nuclear standoff, humanity created the United Nations and declared universal human rights. Decolonization remapped 3 continents, while movements against segregation and patriarchy fought to expand the very definition of we. Today, our devices hum with the frequency of this entire history. The internet accelerates trade, migration, and exchange, even as climate change, inequality, and pandemics remind us that our fates are bound together. The story is not over. Another turn is gathering, just at the edge of the map.